Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be dissertating and talking about misconceptions about the zodiac sign Aries. Now, Aries on the surface, I think, at least construed by a lot of people, or many occasions may appear, they come across as aloof, in which they can be. They seem like they don't always necessarily show that strong, compassionate or sympathetic side on the surface. However, I think in ways that's not always obvious or blatant, Aries can actually be compassionate. See, Aries is a sign I see is similar to Leo about being very magnanimous and generous. They could be very, as far as their resources go, they can readily share them with others. I've recently had a Sun in Aries person really help me out immensely. I was going through a crisis as far as my living situation goes, and he helped me get a place which is, as far as the cost goes, is very reasonable. That would probably be an understatement. And really it pulled me out of a huge predicament. And the thing about Aries is, it's not, they could be very outspoken and blunt with what they say. It's generally not malicious, though, or belligerent. Aries kind of has the philosophy, well, a heart's a heart, a diamond's a diamond, etc. And they're not about restraint or holding back their thoughts and what they feel about a particular situation. I mean, if an Aries is irritated at you, or you exasperated an Aries in some way, shape, or form, you're going to find out about it very quickly. There's not going to be a lot of procrastination, so to speak, on an Aries part, and as far as that goes. Now, and I think when someone in Aries being very generous, I think that kind of shows the compassion, the sympathetic side, at least in a very quiet way. And if somebody has, say they have their Sun in Aries, even if they had Aries rising, there's a 50-50 chance that Sun is going to be in the 12th house, which corresponds with the sign Pisces, of course. And those Aries will be probably more charitable, even more compassionate than if they had it in the first house. So there's really there's certain things about Aries like that really are about strong misconceptions, I think. Now, as far as the Aries being provoked, do I believe that out of the 12 signs they are the more easily provoked sign? I would say yes, on an average, but it may not be by a lot. But on average, I would say they probably are. But on the positive side is that they're generally not vindictive or vengeful, and even if they get angry quick, they're going to be often about forgiving and forgetting a lot easier than perhaps any of the other zodiac signs at the same time. Somebody that has their Sun in Aries, they may have one or more planets in Pisces, because you figure about a third of the time somebody with the Sun in Aries is going to have their Mercury in Pisces, and they may, in some Aries, are going to have Venus in Pisces as well. So there's going to be a little bit more of that emotional quality, that sentimentality that's connected, that compassion is going to blend in with the Aries. So, as I've stated in other videos, it's always about not isolating one particular proponent or part of a horoscope, because in astrologically the person is made up of all these components and all these little nuances. Now, if somebody has Aries rising, that doesn't mean they don't have any water in their chart, of course. And a number of times somebody with Aries rising may have at least one or more planets in water, or they may have planets in the water houses. So there'll be some compensation as far as that goes. Even if they didn't have any other planets in water, they may very well have at least some planet, or at least a planet in a water house, which of course is the 4th, 8th, or 12th house. So the thing about Aries is, I think those are the things that are what I've described are the main things that can be misconstrued or misunderstood. The fact that a lot of times because they can be in a hurry, they might not show on the surface to a lot of people that really don't know them well, that there is that strong that there can be a strong compassion or sympathetic side to them, just because they may not be as demonstrative as a water sign, say, and show all these emotions on the surface. It doesn't mean they don't have them. They just might not be showing it as readily to others. So those are some things to look at as far as Aries people go. And Aries also can be not just generous monetarily. They could be the type of person that might be there for you to give you a ride, to help you out, and if you have certain limitations or restrictions in your life. And back to the thing about the Aries, what I said before about them being, of course, one of the obvious traits of them are being outspoken and blunt. I can remember one time when I was working in a retail store, and I had been washing my hands, and a Sun in Aries, and I think very likely Aries ascendant as well, was sitting down, and I was washing my hands for a fairly prolonged period of time, and he said, "Hey Ed, what are you doing? Taking a bath over there?" I mean, that's just kind of their way. I mean, it wasn't really that serious. I think he was being more jocular than anything, but their statements can be abrupt, but that's just their way, and it's nothing personal. And obviously water signs especially, or somebody that's got a water dominant chart, even especially a preponderance of water in their chart, might be a little bruised by the abruptness, the outspokenness of an Aries, due to the fact that they don't hold back very often. Now, anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for misconceptions about Aries. And stay tuned next time, where I'll be continuing my series about, it's going to be, I believe the next video is going to be no cardinal signs and major influences in the natal chart. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because a person astrologically is the sum of all their components in their natal chart, and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.